would like to introduce you to Hari. Hari heads the sales and strategy activities at DENOG, and he would like to tell you a bit more about the private relay services, especially the Apple private relay, and give you some insights from the access network perspective.
Thank you. All right. See, post-lunch talks are always tricky, right? But I must admit, the Meet Me sessions which we had in between was a good idea, right? Hello, everyone. My name is Hari, and as Sebastian mentioned, I work for a company called DENOG. We are based in Berlin. And it's been 2 years since the launch of Apple Private Relay Services. So they launched it in 2021 in their WWDC conference. And I'm here to share with you some insights, especially from an access network perspective, right? So how the traffic, or how and if the localization works. Right. Right. So a bit of background, but before that, so we wanted to, let's say, acknowledge some people who have worked in this research. So it's also a disclaimer that private relay traffic, by design, the architecture has some limitations. I guess we can probably get a bit more into detail when I actually get into the architecture, but that definitely has to be mentioned. And also, in terms of traffic, at the moment, only Safari and port 80 traffic, which is HTTP traffic, is routed through private relay. This might not necessarily be a representative traffic profile. So that is also something which we need to consider. And special thanks to Patrick Sattler from TU München, who was very much involved in this research, but also he did help us a lot from his research. Right, so I think what is important to understand for people who are not aware of private relay is its architecture, right? So what is private relay is it's a service, or it's a privacy-preserving proxy service, which, let's say, allows a user who's using that service to hide their IPs in a way that, let's say, both source and destination cannot be founded, right, when you use privacy relay service. And the main reason for that is the dual hop architecture that it has. So the architecture is designed in such a way that there are 2 hops between an access network where your device is connected and to the website, so that no party in the chain can connect a source to a particular destination. So here you can see there is a relay 1, which is the subscriber-facing relay, and that is usually operated by Apple, and in some cases by Akamai as well. And then there is relay 2, which is the website-facing, and that is, they are usually egress-proxies that are operated by Akamai, Cloudflare, and Fastly. So the concept here is the relay 1 would basically assign a generic IP for a particular user, and that would be sent to the relay 2. So the website which is facing relay 2 wouldn't necessarily know where the user is located or what exactly the IP address is. It's just a bit different to what a regular or a traditional VPN is. So I guess a definite challenge which private relay possess, or is something which you cannot avoid, is the localization. So CDNs generally try to localize traffic as close to the end user as possible. But here it becomes challenging. I guess from what we discussed before, CDNs have limited visibility when it comes to private relay, so they wouldn't necessarily know end user's location. And then the second one is, let's say the relay one, which is the ingress proxy, is handing over the content to access network. But then the geographical spread of these proxies might not resemble a major CDN's footprint. So we can probably get more into detail when I explain these in detail. So there are a couple of solutions for these challenges, right? So the solution one is geohashing. So what do they mean by geohashing? So this is again a picture from Apple's private relay explanation. So what they do is when the relay one provides an IP, an IP for the device or for the user, so Apple allows you two options. So the first one, I mean, I'm sure some of you has Apple phones here. You can probably just go check. If you have Cloud Plus, iCloud Plus, then you can get access to private relay. And so they offer two options. One is you can either choose a general location. So when they say general location, they're going to take an IP from a particular, let's say, resembling to the particular city where you are. And the second is a country and time location, which means it's going to take on a more, let's say, common country locations. So the first solution for this localization challenge is having a geohashing, which means based on whichever IP they choose, there's going to be a geohash attached to that particular IP. So this way, there would be a representative, let's say, idea of where you are located as a user, and CDNs can probably deliver traffic from that particular location. So this, be it a city or a country, right? There's a big difference. And then, of course, the second solution is, now we know that most CDNs are trying to get into or get closer to the users, which means getting into having different locations. So from our observation, this is also a publicly available tool called bgp.tools. And since we were talking about Akamai, so from our observation, we see that Akamai uses 31683 as their AS for private relay, and announces about 550 of /24. So if you, let's say, approximately, we can consider that there are 550 locations for private relay specific traffic, which Akamai is announcing. So this is good coverage, no doubts. But I'm sure Patrick here would disagree that this is not the exact amount of locations Akamai has all over the world. And this is not necessarily enough, right? If Apple has a lot of penetration into different countries. So this is definitely not enough for a major CDN. So you might wonder, like, when I say, hey, how can you give an access network perspective? So to clear things out, we are not an access network. So what we do, or what DENOG does, is we collect certain standardized protocols from an access network. We cross-correlate those protocols, and we process that information and, let's say, provide network intelligence. So what we mean by that is, things like flow analytics, where you can see how your traffic is traveling, or how the traffic is ingressing through an access network, how it is traveling through the access network, and where it is going. But also, getting into deeper aspects of like which kind of services and which kind of applications are getting into the network, right? So this is what we do, and this is how we are able to give you an access network perspective. So the methodology what we used is we compare the ingress distance between 5 major CDNs and private relay IPs for a representative region. Like what I mean here is a country, and this is a larger access network in Germany. So we have also given a split between fixed network and mobile. You would also see the difference of how private relay performs for split network compared to, for fixed network compared to mobile. And we have taken a decent amount of history, which is over 3 months. So you can also compare, especially taken into consideration seasonal trends and all the likes. And whatever data you're going to see now is all from our product DENOG analytics. Yeah. So this is what an access network would see. So you would have a website, which we can probably consider as Netflix, and then that is behind a source AS, which is Netflix AS here. And then it is handed over, and then the destination here, which is the relay 2, is, I guess here in this case, we have taken Cloudflare. And then the relay 1 comes because the traffic is being routed back. So there you could see 714 and 36183, which are Apple's ASN and Akamai's. So this is basically what an access network sees, not more, not less. Right, so I'd probably before getting into this screenshot, so what you're seeing here is our Flow Explorer, that is the module which basically gives you source to destination visibility of IP traffic. And here you can see on the source AS, which is on the very left, so you can see different CDNs, which, for confidentiality reasons, we've just named CDN 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the right side, you see the traffic has been filtered just for the fixed network, for that particular access network. And the ingress router here are, let's say, mentioned as different regions. So we have grouped all routers from different regions into region A, B, C, D, E, again for confidentiality region. And then the egress side is basically, let's say, for example, we are talking about a particular region here, and the IPs are all definitely part of that region. So now we are seeing how the traffic is being delivered from these different CDNs to that particular region A. So here from our observation, you can see that 97% of traffic is being, let's say, received or being sent from the same region, meaning localization works pretty good here, right? So CDNs, they have good amount of information about how this region or where these particular routers are and where these IPs are. So they're able to do a good job in terms of localization. So now when we consider the same for private relay, you could see, so there is, of course, the private relay traffic, which is the source traffic here. And then there are different regions where the private relay traffic is being sent to. So this is the same region which we are talking about for the same fixed network. You could see how the traffic is scattered in terms of where it's being delivered to. So only 33% of traffic is coming from the same region, meaning, let's say, for example, if a CDN wants to deliver the traffic into a particular IP from that region, then they're only able to do 33% of the traffic with private relay, while the rest, 66% or 67%, is coming from different regions. And this is where localization becomes a big challenge, even though they use geohashing, even though they use other, let's say, even though they have edge locations within different regions, still localization is very difficult. So the same goes for mobile network as well, right? So Here we are talking about the same 5 CDNs, which are delivering traffic into particular region. And you can see here, so about 92% of traffic which is coming into that region is being served from the same location for that particular CDN. And there's also, interestingly, one point which I forgot to mention. So you could see when we talk about the distance for different regions. So region A, of course, is the same region, but then you see region B, C, D, E, which is on the left in pink and different colors. You could see also the distance from where the traffic is being served, right? It's like we are talking about 450 kilometers away from that particular region, and traffic is being served from that particular region for private relay networks. So similarly, again, when we talk about mobile networks, you see here 92% of the traffic is being served from the same region, meaning the CDNs are doing a pretty good job in terms of localizing the traffic. But when we get to private relay networks, again for mobile, you see that there's only 71% of traffic that is coming from the same region, while the other traffic is coming from regions which are 255 kilometers, 424 kilometers, and 477 kilometers. So, which kind of shows that localization is not very effective when it comes to private relay networks, and we understand the reason why, right? So what are our conclusions from here? Like I said before, localization of traffic is definitely not fully effective. There could be different reasons. There could be a lot of different reasons. So mapping, when you try and map via geohash, it also depends on the quality of geodata. I guess there are a lot of, let's say, third-party geodata databases which Access Network uses, but also CDNs use as well, which is not reliable. So that could be a reason. And geo distance does not always equal network distance. So this is very, very true in the fact that you did see how, even though we saw how the traffic was scattered between different regions, so there could be an assumption, at least externally by different CDNs, that the geo distance is equal to network distance, but that's not the case. Because each networks are built in differently, and the backbones are built different, so you can never assume that's the case. And it could also be because there is volatility, meaning there could be capacity issues, there could be utilization issues. So that could also be one of the reasons why the traffic is coming from different regions. But yeah, that's something which I guess CDNs have to give more overview. And as we said before, since this only talks about port 80, HTTP traffic and then Safari traffic, so the data might not be representative at all. So from what I've heard, the traffic what is coming in is probably less than 1% of the traffic. So if you consider that, it's not definitely a representative traffic profile. So yeah, that brings me to the end of my presentation. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We also have some of our team members here, so we are happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Are there any questions out of the room? Are there any questions on venue list? No? Nobody? Then we won some time.
Thank you.
Thank you.